So apparently, to follow up on the video I did this morning, as well as follow up on what others have said so far, it looks more than likely we are going to get a rematch at All Out between CM Punk and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title, possibly with a stipulation of it's going to be probably anything goes or something like that, which would play into the favor of CM Punk if they're going to go the direction they're going to go with him. But we also found out that it was done to pop a rating, and it did do that job, but maybe not as much as they were hoping, because from what people are saying, the moment it seemed that they did what they did last night, the moment that they did what they did last night, after that is when the numbers start to dip. Like, the numbers were up, in the first hour, thanks to the likes of Jericho and Danielson. But, and continued to kind of stay that way as they went into the second hour. But the moment they did what they did is when they dipped. So they averaged what they wanted. Tony Khan averaged what he wanted. But, is that what this has been about, really? Besides what a lot of people are hoping and pretty much suspecting is going to be the direction to go in at All Out or afterwards. Is this what Tony Khan's, new venture is going to be, his new goal is going to be, is to try to hit that rating because of the WBD television deal that they could have, waiting in the wings for them? Who knows? But I will say this. Yes, ratings are important, especially when you want to get a TV deal, one that you've been wanting to get for a while, so that you can have more money financially to maybe expand your 1 hour show, maybe open the doors to get another hour or so for your other wrestling product, in this case being Ring of Honor. Getting high ratings so you can get more financial security for all that is important. There's no getting around that. There's no denying that. But still, there's going to be a lot of fans and even insiders, but mostly fans, that are going to look at something like that, hear something like this, and be like, "Really, Tony? Is this what you're going to do from now on? Are you going to take potential main events that you should be saving for pay-per-views or your special events, your quarterly specials and all that? Are you just going to hotshot them, on a random episode of Dynamite or Rampage just because you want to pop a rating to impress, the executives at the WBD? Is that what this is about?" And, when fans, and the reason fans would ask that to Tony is basically because they feel and believe that Tony shouldn't worry about that too much. That if the WBD has a lot of confidence in them and support behind them, then Tony Khan shouldn't have to worry about, getting a high rating. That if what they're doing is good enough for Warner Brothers Discovery, then that's all that should matter. Nothing else. Nothing else should matter if you're already kind of like, supported by, these people. But I guess with what's been going on, at the WBD, with David Zaslav, axing a lot of stuff, kind of canceling a lot of stuff, kind of, removing a lot of stuff and everything to save money, it does show that nothing really is off limits to this new era at Warner Brothers Discovery. Nothing is, off limits. Nothing is, safe, if you will, from, being considered for cancellation. And even if something is looked at as being in the back pocket, as being successful, financially successful, it doesn't mean that they're not probably going to be considered for cancellation or whatever. I mean, look at The Flash and Aquaman. I mean, they're being delayed right now, even further than they should. And there is consideration of axing them entirely. Just not going through with them at all. This, talk of doing the same with the second Batman film starring Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson. This talk about that not going possibly because they want to save money. They want to financially save money so they can, basically take what they're going to consider as tax write-offs, get that money back so they can rebuild the company or something like that. If these kind of projects are considered, if not rumored, to potentially be in that kind of scenario to where, hey, you think they're going to be all right, but then all of a sudden you find out they're not. Is Tony Khan feeling like maybe that's where that's a possibility for AEW, even though it's been reported that WBD is behind them, is supporting them. Is Tony Khan worried that even though it sounds like they're securing everything, going forward, and they got the support of Warner Bros. Discovery, is he afraid that David Zaslav could say, you know what, they're not getting in the numbers we want or they promised, screw them, get rid of them? Is that what he's worried about? Is that why, he's doing what he's doing, or he did what he did last night? Is that the plan going forward? Or and everything? These are questions that fans are going to be asking and wondering about Tony Khan now. Is he so worried about getting that television deal that he's going to basically try to do something that he shouldn't do and should usually save for like a quarterly special or pay-per-view or whatever? Is he going to just keep hot-shotting this kind of stuff out there to ensure that, hey, not only do we get this sweet new TV deal and keep the financial support and backing of our new bosses and everything, is he going to, keep doing that, not just to ensure all that, but to ensure that maybe they can get more out of it? I get where Tony Khan would be coming from wanting to do that, but again, you have to look at the wrestling fans. The fans, they do understand, hey, keeping the show on the air is great, keeping the show afloat is great, but, it's one thing to hotshot something just because you want to impress your bosses. When, as I mentioned before, if they are impressed by you, if they do support you, then you shouldn't have to worry about them potentially putting you in that category of, hey, well, we got your back, we support you, but then all of a sudden it's like next day, you know what, we changed our minds. You shouldn't worry about that. If WBD, David Zaslav, Kathleen Finch, and all of them are behind AEW, they shouldn't worry about that whatsoever. They shouldn't worry, whatsoever of what potentially the future will hold. Because if it is all good for them, then they shouldn't worry about having to pop a high rating just because, just because Tony Khan and those around him are probably hearing about the news of all these other projects that, we all thought was going to be okay and be fine, now suddenly being cut, canceled, removed from the network to be shopped, removed from the network, shopped around. Just because you're hearing all that, it shouldn't be a reason to panic. You should just be like, okay, unless it does concern us, unless our name comes into the category of consideration of being canceled or shopped around, we shouldn't worry. We shouldn't worry. Because, like I said, if they have faith in them, then, they don't need, and fans would agree with this. They shouldn't have to worry about popping a rating if the people at WBD are supportive of them. They shouldn't have to worry about that. They should just be like, you know what? We don't have to, these guys are cool with us, they're supporting us. Let's not do this. Let's wait till All Out to do it. And that's it. That's why a lot of people look and wonder, well, why didn't you wait for the pay-per-view? Because if the plan was basically to pop a rating, they could see why you're doing it. They could see why. Because of everything I mentioned. Because of the fact that you're worried that you might end up on that chopping block or potential chopping block of either being canceled or shopped around or whatever, and not getting that deal you want. So to me, when I hear all this come out, in my opinion, and I know it sounds like I rambled here a lot, but in my opinion, when it comes to hearing all this, honestly, I think Tony Khan needs to basically rethink his strategy. He needs to rethink what he does and not worry about something that he shouldn't be worrying about if the people that are basically his broadcast parent company are very supportive of him right now, to the point that they're willing to give him that TV deal that he wants. He shouldn't have to worry about that at all. He should be cool with the fact that, hey, they're happy with the numbers we're pulling in, and that's fine. Don't worry about popping 1 million views one every week because you want to really, really impress them to get what you want. If you are confident you're going to get it, then don't worry about it, the way I look at it. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Tony Khan did what he did last night just because, not because he wanted to pop a rating, but because he wanted to impress the people at Warner Bros. Discovery so he can ensure to get a more sweeter deal than, originally probably talked about? Which, again, I don't blame him for, but still, there are wrestling fans out there that will understand that, but also kind of look at him and say, there's more to this. There should be that. Well, basically, a lot of wrestling fans will be like, look, we understand where you're coming from, Tony, but there's more to popping a rating than just hot-shotting something you should wait on. And that's about it. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video. Support me at BW Rose's Discussions on your favorite audio podcast locations, as well as support me at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 and at Cash App at BW Roses 98. But give me your thoughts, guys. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. Also, check me out at my Teespring store. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. And I am out.